Hi, everyone. Welcome to our next Reader's Workshop lesson. Today, we're going to still be using our text, The Moon. The teachers are going to be using it. And of course, you're always welcome to read your own nonfiction text. And to remind you, nonfiction means it's not necessarily a story that we're reading, but it's giving you information about a topic. And it can be a real story, but the nonfiction text is always about something that's real and giving you information about something. So today we're going to look back at our moon text, and I'm just going to be talking about 2 pages because I'm going to give you 2 examples because I want you to really get used to the strategy we're doing today. And so the objective today is that we're going to learn how to gather facts. And some of you at home might be thinking, oh, I know how to gather lots of facts. I know what that means. But the key to this strategy today is really gathering important facts, because I don't want to know just anything about a topic. I want to know very important information about something. So we're going to look at this page that you see in front of me right now. It's part of our moon text, and I'm going to read it. I'm going to give us some time for teachers to think about what's really important, and some key clues as to what is really important is usually some new idea that you didn't have before, or something that's really important for you to understand what the topic is about. So again, it's something that maybe is new information to you, or it's something that is giving you really important information about the topic that you really need to know in order to understand what the text is about. So I'm going to read it, and I want you to think to yourself, is there anything that's new on this information that I didn't know before I read this book? So there's no air on the moon. Sometimes it can be very hot there. It can be very cold on the moon too. People, animals, and plants cannot live there. So let's give ourselves some think time and think about, what was some new information that you had no idea before reading this book? And I know we've been reading it for a couple of days, so you might have learned it after you read it, but think back into something that you just learned this week, something new. And teachers, when you're ready, you can give me a thumbs up so I know that you're ready to share. Miss Rosales, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so there is no air on the moon is something that is new to me, in the sense that I knew that people didn't live up there, but to know the reason why through the text was very powerful for me.
I love how you connect your prior knowledge, because we all come in with a lot of different ideas already. And I love how Ms. Rosales added on to her prior knowledge about, oh, I knew that people don't live on the moon, but now I know why. So thank you for that clarification. Ms. Akimovich, do you have any thoughts?
Yes. So this was like what I mentioned a couple days ago when we first read this text. I learned that the moon either has very hot weather or very cold weather. So this page is really talking about its environment. And so sometimes it's hot or sometimes it's really cold. So either one.
I love that you added those 2 ideas together, because it's not just, because if we just read sometimes it can be very hot there, we're thinking, oh, it's only hot. But then you remembered, oh, the second sentence tells us, but it can also be cold too. So we're adding 2 different new ideas that have to be together, else it doesn't make sense and it's not true. So readers, did you see how we did that? We read the page first, and then we asked ourselves what was some new information that we didn't know before that now we know. And those are the kinds of facts that we want to add into our writing as we're writing in this journal. So I just wanted to talk it out for this page, but the next page, we're going to show you how to do your assignment. Okay, so here's our next page. Astronauts have been to the moon. They went there in spaceships. The astronauts took rocks back to Earth. The rocks helped us to find out more about the moon. So again, we're going to ask ourselves, what's something new that we learned as we read this text today? Because that's going to be the facts that we're going to gather. So teachers, when you're ready, you can give me a thumbs up. And while you do that, I'm going to show you the Seesaw assignment that we're going to be using, because I'm going to record your information. So boys and girls at home, remember, you have to watch the YouTube video first and then click on the assignment. So I'm going to add a response here to the fact graphic organizer you're going to use. And then this is going to pop up. And I'm going to write the topic here. That's going to be the title of our book. And I'm going to use the text. Okay. And I'm gonna write the moon, because that's the book title that we're using. And then we're gonna write down 3 facts that we learned, new information from our moon text. So I'm gonna go back to this screen for our teachers to look at. And Ms. Akimowicz, do you wanna start us off?
Yes. So I learned that there were rocks that astronauts took back to Earth. Um, and there were rocks. Can I add more onto that?
Of course.
So they took these rocks back to Earth, and they learned more about the moon with those rocks. And I'm kind of curious what they learned, but that would be something that I can research on my own because I want to know what are the things that they learned from these rocks.
Is that okay to say, did I word your thinking correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So astronauts took rocks back to Earth and learned from them. And I love how Ms. Akimowicz used her own words. Now, I'm okay, boys and girls, if you want to get your information straight from the text as you're practicing this skill. But in the future, it's really important that we don't take other people's words. We want to listen to what we read and try to figure it out in our own way, in our own head, and reword it, because that's going to help us understand the topic better and make sure that we're respecting other people's ideas and how they wrote them.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Rosales, do you want to add another fact that you learned?
You and I were thinking the same way, Miss. I can say that astronauts arrived there on spaceships.
Okay, that's a great one. Astronauts arrived there on spaceships. I know with these shorter texts, it's kind of hard to find so many different facts because there's only like 3 sentences, but I'm hoping, boys and girls at home, you're reading books that are longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
By space. Did I paraphrase your thinking correctly, Ms. Rosales?
Yes, which brings back to what I was saying earlier, that I knew that plant life and human life did not exist, but now I know that people can get there, be there for a bit, and travel back, from what Ms. Akimowicz stated. They took it home to study.
And that's something new I learned too. And I'm going to add a fact too. I noticed that sometimes we don't just need to look at the text to give us ideas. I was also looking at the text feature of the photograph. And I also want to add that astronauts look like they have to wear special suits in order to be in space, because I don't see someone just walking with a t-shirt and shorts. I actually see them wearing something different. So I'm going to add that to our facts list here. Does that look okay, teachers?
Yeah.
Awesome. So boys and girls at home, we're going to give you a text to do this with, so it's a lot easier for you to read. And then we're going to give you the title of the page of the story or the nonfiction text we're going to read. And I want you to come up with 3 facts that you learned. And remember, how we find out what's an important fact is something that's new to you or something that's really important to understand what this topic is going to be about. So thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget to, also don't forget to record your sentences after you write them. Sometimes it's really nice to hear your voice and to practice our reading. And it helps you as a writer to read out your responses to make sure you have all the words you need there. And then when you're done, you're gonna click that green check mark to post it. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe.